Hey, what's up YouTube? With the Witch Queen bringing in quote-unquote 40 new legendary weapons, there's bound to be some that have some pretty spicy rolls. So in this video, I'm going to look through each and every one for the first time and give them a grade on how good or bad I believe they are. Disclaimer, some of the new perks introduced have percentages that I don't know exactly, so those ones might be slightly better or worse than the grade I give them. Also, I took out the non-adept versions of some of the weapons, so I have 37 to look at for now, since all of the adept and non-adept versions have the same rolls. Also, no raid weapons in here. So they are not up yet and probably won't be unless they've been data mined, but I'm not going to review them just yet. I'll take a look at them after the raid drops. Alright, so here on like.gg, I already have every tab open, as you can see. So I'm just going to go through each one at a time. First thing, duty bound. So nightfall weapon, 600 adaptive auto. First things first, I like perpetual, one for all, frenzy, you know, even rampage. Interesting, I just noticed you can get triple tap 4 times. That's kind of a meme roll, but that's basically triple double if you know what that is from Destiny 1 when Wrath of the Machine came out. There was a scout rifle and a machine gun that could get a perk called triple double, which was basically what these two things together do. This I don't like. I think it's decent as a nightfall trait. Well, I guess champions are everywhere too. I don't know how needed it is though, but you know, I'd give this a pretty good roll because I mean, you've got like I said, you got perpetual, one for all, frenzy, which is like 2 setups that I would love having, and then you even have like a funny roll here, which I actually think would be pretty good. Steady hands, like no stats for all. I'd use it actually. I think it's a pretty nice perk. It's a pretty sizable thing. So you could do stats for all, one for all, which I've had on a fusion rifle, and it makes the gun feel really nice. So I would give this roll honestly an A to start it off. I don't think there can be much better other than maybe having something like outlaw. Even from a PvP side of things, like you could go Zen moment, danger zone, dynamic sway, and that would be a like 0 recoil. So duty bound, I give it an A. Next thing, Herod C. I hope I'm saying that right. Hockey kinetic auto rifle. So this is a 360. So high impact. Not that great in PvP or PvE in terms of like DPS, but a pretty easy gun to use because of its slow fire rate. This is a gambit weapon, so of course it's gonna have a bajillion perks. Based off that, I already can't give it an A, but I think like focus rate, I haven't used it, but I do think that's pretty solid, especially with a gun that's like a slower fire rate. That'll be pretty easy to get a bunch of headshots with. Sticking in the right column, turnabout, I have used as well a little bit on the first day. There's a decent amount of shields in PvE with the Lucent Hive having those little moth dudes that give them like an overshield. I don't know if it's like a meta perk, because what you're losing out on is a damage perk, which I think is fairly needed on primary weapons. But with things like protective getting nerfed, you know, survivability is something that you could consider more on a weapon. And I do think this, generally speaking, even for PvP, you know, breaking a shield, that's gonna be what, 3 bullets I think in PvP, maybe 4, and then you get an overshield. That seems pretty strong. So headstone as well, stasis perk, it's really good. Honestly, I still think it's underrated. You just shoot it twice. A nice thing about the Hawkeye frame is it's gonna do more damage to the stasis crystals. I wonder if you can one shot with this thing like a stasis crystal. Probably not. Maybe 2 shot. That's what I expect. Even still though, two shot at 360 is like way better than what Ice Luna can do, for example, which takes I think 2 shots as well, but is basically half the. No, it's like a third of the fire rate. Again though, not really a lot of reload perks. You've got perpetual. There's no outlaw or feeding frenzy. Not that I like feeding frenzy, but on a slower weapon, I'd like to see outlaw. Ensemble, you're gonna need teammates around. Perpetual, I think it's a good perk, but I don't know if I necessarily want to use it on something that isn't quite as run and gunny. Compulsive reload honestly might not be that bad if you want a PvP roll. Like this thing and that. I don't know how it handles. It probably handles terribly, in which case you'd need something like elemental maybe a moving target. I just don't really like the first column for PvP, aside from perpetual. But I mean, good luck getting a roll for this thing, you know. I would give it a B. I think there's a lot of different perk combos that can be really good, but there's also like, you know, do you really want ensemble moving target or auto loading unrelenting? Not really. So crate, I looked at this a little bit. I think the vice thing is pretty nice. It's a small chance, but you basically, when just shooting, you have a chance to just have the weapon reload, which is actually pretty nice. I'm imagining that thing with like overflow and just having like a 90 magazine, like 100 magazine, and then having it reproc like halfway through. You could easily go with sub 1 for all, overflow 1 for all. Focus Fury again, I think is solid. I have a sub Adagio roll that I used on the first day of Witch Queen, and I actually think because of the fire rate being a 720, it actually gains, I think, a little bit more than slower fire rate weapons do. Based off the fact, again, 6x6, you can get, it's basically Chroma Rush, but better, I think, because you can get sub 1 for all, which was the best thing you could get there, unless you wanted sub Rampage, which is fine. But having Headstone, stats for all, 1 for all combo, even compulsive reloader, and like moving target, not a bad PvP roll. I would give this an A as well, because at 720s are like the best auto rifle frame. I just realized I've looked through a lot of auto rifles right now. I think only auto rifles, but I think this is a good weapon. Okay, first bow. This is a lightweight, so think arsenic, kinetic, not stasis. Successful warm up, craftable. Each final blow increases charge draw speed. Up to a certain point. I don't know if that's to ×3 or what. It's nice that this is in the loot table. I guess this is a moon weapon, or not moon weapon, throne world weapon. You know, like you could do archers successful warm up. Trying to think of other things like cornered, no. Thresh, no. Adrenaline, I like 1 for all, but it's hard with the bow because it's like, okay, if I shot 1 and then I shot a second guy, am I going to be able to hit the third guy? I don't, you might not be able to in time. So it's not terrible because you can just go with the safe archers explosive roll or something like that. Even shoot to loot explosive if you wanted to. Shoot to loot on a bow is like, I think it's one of the best weapons to have shoot to loot, because you don't really need like reload perks on a bow. So I would give this I'd give it a C. Yeah, C, maybe C plus. Peace of Mind's a rapid fire kinetic, not stasis, kinetic. Basically no PvE rolls aside from maybe focus fire. I don't really like how none of these have like the good, like an outlaw or something like that. That's just a staple good perk that I like seeing. I think this is a pretty solid thing, but again, you're using a rapid fire pulse. Are you really going to be able to keep killing fast enough? It's not like you can pair it with a rampage, you know, the equivalent would be adrenaline, but there's no like demo adrenaline, which I think is when adrenaline is best is when you pair it with demolitionist. PvP wise, elemental and moving target, I really like moving target. I think it's really strong. I actually think even harmony is pretty strong. It's pretty easy to go get a shotgun kill and then swap to this thing, and you just have this laser beam of damage. You know, I don't think it's great. I would go with perpetual moving target if I were looking for a PvP roll. PvE roll, I don't think I'm going for one. So I'll give this one a D. The only reason it's not an F is because I actually think there's a decent PvP roll on it. It looks super sick though. Stasis kinetic pulse. This is an adaptive, so you know, serves frame 390 RPM. Headstone. I think they said they were gonna look at Headseeker as a buff or like a rework coming soon. So this one's kind of a tentative maybe. Hey, look, outlaw finally. PvP wise, which I mean, I think Suros frames are more based on that because of reducing flinch. Zen moment rangefinder or moving target rangefinder is pretty sick. I actually think Outlaw Focus Fury could be pretty nice too. Of course, you could do Outlaw Headstone if you needed it for a stasis build. I'll give this one a B in terms of rolls, but I don't know how much I would actually use it even if I had the rolls that I wanted. Kinetic Stasis Scout from Hockey. So high impact, low ammo. This is basically a rapid fire sniper, but as a primary. Have not used it yet, but I think this is a pretty good headstone weapon. Yeah, especially for GMs too. You could just plink away, anti-barrier scout, rapid fire, headstone. That seems pretty fun. I don't know if rapid aid is not good enough to give it up for shoot to loot. I don't know if shoot to loot is valuable enough to it, but I wouldn't mind having a rapid aid headstone roll of this. I don't think you want one for all. You know, you could go plink, 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 have a damage buff. Even Focus Fury. I think Focus Fury might be better just because of the nature of the gun, you know, super slow firing, click on heads type thing. PvP, I'm sure this thing is probably really weird to use if you're not used to it. I don't know why you wouldn't just use a hand cannon unless you really were on a massive map. If you were in PvP, I'd probably go explosive and like compulsive reloader. I don't know. Controllers might be able to make use of tunnel vision. I wouldn't use this in PvP though. It's just not a good weapon though, like frame wise. So I'll give it a C based off that. I would love for these things to actually be really hard hitting though, sometime in the future. Fortissimo, legendary kinetic shotgun. So first in last out, but as a kinetic. So this will compete with Heritage. Because it's Vanguard, of course, there's a million rolls. I don't think this can be better than Heritage with any roll. I haven't even looked at this stuff yet. Reconstruction and recombination, just such a nice roll. You can't even get auto loading on this thing. The best thing I can see already in terms of PvE would be Lead from Gold Vorpal. I don't really like this at all. With how many there are too, even getting a PvP like threat detector opening would be difficult. I'm not gonna give it an F. I'll give it a D, but it's really close to an F. Sorry, shotgun. Another shotgun, Hockey kinetic, aggressive. If you need a kinetic shotgun for PvP, I think this one can do pretty good. As for perks here, quickly PvE, I don't think there's anything other than maybe dual loader 1-2 punch, auto loading 1-2 punch. I would still, yeah. If you're moving as a group, Ensemble Elemental would be a really nice PvP roll. This thing feels, you know, a pretty good kinetic spot. I'll give it a C minus. C minus. Again, I'm biased towards PvE, so. The fact that this thing can't really get anything great on PvE, you know, I'm not the biggest fan. Another legendary kinetic. This is lightweight, so think that Wastelander I just showed you, or Reese Walker. What is this from? Oh, is this the thingy? Ritual weapon? It is. Okay, never mind. It's a PvP roll for sure. Full choke, assault mag, perpetual snapshot. I don't like having to get a kill to then have the handling. That's why I say perpetual snapshot. This is gonna really struggle one hitting. I mean, it's nice to have assault mag. You've got a really high fire rate as for a shotgun, but this is not. It's not even a great PvP roll. So I mean, I'll give it a D because it's something easy that everyone can have, but there's not much about it that's good. Kinetic sidearm. This is a 2-burst one. I've shot it a little bit. I already hate it. There's almost nothing good about this roll, and I'm giving it an F right away. Silicon Neuroma. This is the Pyramidion sniper rifle. If you remember from back in the day, it actually has some pretty decent rolls because of triple tap firing line. So that's already, you know, pretty solid roll. And PvP wise, you've got snapshot opening still. So in terms of what it has viability wise, I give it an A for perks. The fact that it's an aggressive means that I don't think it's better than Succession from Deepstone. So because of that, in terms of the PvE side of things, I'll give it a B. But if you like high impact snipers for PvP, snapshot opening, you can't get better than that. Another kinetic sniper rifle. This one's stasis. This one can also get a decent PvE roll. I already see firing line. I don't know how focus free is going to be, but this is a, okay, it's adaptive. I wasn't sure if it was rapid fire and adaptive. Snapshot, perpetual, snapshot firmly planted. It's kind of snapshot on anything in the first column for PvP. PvE would be rapid at firing line, which is still good. That's a pretty good roll. I'd give this a B for that roll. Also the fact that it's a 90 AK and adaptive makes it already a good sniper. Forensic Nightmare, this is the Throne World SMG kinetic 600 but stasis. It does have headstone and perpetual. This first column is pretty garbage in my opinion. Aside from perpetual. Encore, I don't like his perk. Heating up, I don't like his perk. Under pressure, I don't really like his perk. Grave robber, niche PvE builds. Slideways, just worse slide shot. So not a great start. I think if you want an SMG with headstone, then there you go. PvP wise, I would go perpetual harmony or perpetual kill clip, sideways, harmony. I'd stick with these. I don't think there's anything up here unless you really feel like you need heating up for some reason. Or, I don't know, like Encore. I don't think it's a complete failure because it has headstone, so I'll give it a D. But it's not a good D. Energy auto rifle arc. This is a 360, so another high impact one from Throne World. Golden tricorn, so first there, adaptive munitions. This weapon adapts its damage output and effectiveness against energy shields that don't match weapon types. So this is kind of like a hard light all-in-one as a perk, if I'm reading that correctly. Could be a neat roll if you ever were doing something with match game and was solo. This would be nice to have. We run triple tap in that, shoot to loot in that. You know, this weapon does, I mean, Genesis, I suppose. I wonder how Genesis works with it. I bet it does work with it, but I don't really know. One for all as well. Turnabout, okay rolls. C minus though. It's really niche, if anything, and isn't a great archetype. Sweet Sorrow, this is a rapid fire energy arc auto rifle with not much PvE because you don't have any reload perks here aside from perpetual, and they're really trying to push this, man. It's on everything. I think PvE wise you'd go stats for all, one for all, PvP, Killing Wind or perpetual with either turnabout at the trigger if you find that useful. Focus Fury, TBD. I don't know, it could be useful, could be not. You're shooting a lot, so MNK would get value in this. For PvE, I'll give it a B minus as a grade. Energy Precision Frame, so this is basically a subtle calamity, void bow. This thing also has that shield perk. Tunnel Vision's interesting because it's already reloading per shot, so that's pretty neat for PvP. I don't see a reason why you'd need it for PvE. Of course, you can always go with a staple of explosive archers. Interesting that turnabout is on this thing because every headshot's gonna break his shield or PvP, so that might be something pretty interesting to look out for. Maybe turnabout tunnel vision, that could be a pretty neat PvP role, just because that's gonna help hit your headshots and that's gonna give you a shield every time you crit someone. That would be definitely annoying to play against, but that would be fun to use. So I'll give it a B because of that. I think it has good PvP roles. Likely Suspect, this is a rapid fire fusion. In Void, this is the one I had stats for all, one for all on. Pretty fun roll in terms of just ad clearing. I wonder what dodge was like on it too. Ooh, each final, that's interesting. I don't think it's better than getting a damage perk, but that's pretty nice. I think with these rolls, I would give it a B minus because it really just doesn't compete in terms of a general use weapon like Cartesian would with Lead from Gold Vorpal. Actually, because of that, I'm gonna give it a C plus. I changed my mind. This is really something you'd want to use clearing ads, which I don't know if you want to do without like Lead from Gold. You're gonna be using a lot of ammo. Another Void Fusion. This is a precision frame, so main ingredient. Already a decent PvP roll with firmly planted high impact. This is your reservoir burst one, but no auto loading again. I don't really like this very much. This one could get more use out of this, but when are you really needing to like spam it again, you know? And with what perk? Steady hands? I don't think it's a good perk. Heating up? No. Compulsive reloader? No. Compulsive reloader actually is probably the best with reservoir. You shoot reservoir and you're just reloading instantly. So I guess that's what I would use. This is a D though, because even firmly planted high impact isn't as good as firmly planted tap the trigger in my opinion, but that would be a pretty decent PvP role. And of course, you know, you still have the decent PvE usage. I don't know why you'd use it in PvE though, other than fun. The Enigma, so this is the glaive. I'll look through it quickly. I'll say what I have to say about it. I think it's pretty fun, but I don't think this is a top tier weapon at all. We'll see what the exotic glaives are like shortly. As for perks on it, I think Grave Robber's bugged on it, but if the melees ever do proc, I think it's a good fit for a weapon. I don't think you want to block with this. I've tried blocking and you instantly die most of the time. Impulse is actually pretty nice. I think Impulse is probably the best thing on it. As for the other one, I would say Frenzy. That's just gonna make the gun feel better. And what's nice about Frenzy is that right now, like with the glaive being a little buggy in terms of using it as a melee mode, like melee mode doesn't proc kill clip or unrelenting. Unsure about Thresh, but because you're just taking damage or engaged in combat, Frenzy works for the melee. So I think Impulse Frenzy is probably the best role, but this is a C, but tentative. I don't really know. I don't think it's great, but it's fun. Legendary GL explosive personality. This is a seasonal arisen wave frame. So I'm already looking at either spam ability or just having it in my pocket. I don't see ambitious here, which is something I really like for Deafening Whisper. So I immediately look for the Martyrs role from back in the day from Season of Dawn. No demo, but auto-loading Frenzy, auto-loading Unrelenting. Interesting, there's Disruption Break. I don't know why you'd necessarily need it on a weapon like this, but pretty unique. I don't think you're using these in PvP, so you know, maybe Feeding Frenzy one for all or Frenzy gets used. But I would go either auto-loading Frenzy or auto-loading one for all. Golden Tricorn is probably a perk that could get a lot of use out of a wave frame though. So I'd give this one a B+. I think it's a good roll. If there was Ambitious, it would be A, because Ambitious would be so nice. Ambitious Frenzy would be so perfect. Price is inverted. This is the Crucible hand cannon. 140. Is this actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? So it's 11, 12. That's interesting. You could get demo in the first column, which is really nice. So you're more, you know, demo one for all hand cannon, demo kill clip. I'm still waiting for that demo explosive though, man, or one for all explosive. Just like 2 of those perks together would be awesome. There's a lot of different things you could go with, you know, moving target, harmony, rangefinder, snapshot, PvP, demo one for all, kill clip, a demo adrenaline, turnabout as a PvP perk, focus fire might be pretty solid. Good luck getting this roll, but there's some good stuff on this, and as an adaptive hand cannon, it looks pretty good. I'll give it a B+. It would be easily an A if you got rid of things like tunnel vision, heating up, steady hands, like got rid of the perks, and well, this has some really nice rolls, so easy B+. Could have been higher. Frontier's Cry. This is a 180 solar hand cannon. If you like 180s, I'm sure there's something useful here. I've shot it. It actually sounds really cool, but it's a 180, and I don't think I want to use a 180. I'll give it a C+. I think there's decent rolls. It's just not a great frame. Ogma Energy Solar Pulse Rifle from Amalon. Demo Dragonfly, demo one for all, demo Adrenaline, demo and something good, Turnabout even, who knows. Unrelenting Turnabout, wow, that is ultimate survivability right there. Breaking a shield gives you a shield, and killing things gives you health. Too bad this weapon does no damage. It's the worst frame of pulse, and its 10% buff is frankly not enough. I've used it and I struggled getting kills with it. But this and this, as rolls are awesome on this, honestly. That is cool. Like these two, breaking a shield with disruption break as an energy, like that's awesome. That's perfect. Demo one for all, demo wellspring, demo adrenaline, demo dragonfly. Those are all great. Unrelenting turnabout, I think would be a really funny roll to use. Great rolls, honestly. It's just not a good weapon. I hope pulses get a little bit more of a buff, man. I give it a B based off of how good these rolls are, but could have been higher if it was on an auto rifle or something like that. So this is the trials weapon. This is a rapid fire energy scout void, 7 perks. So a little bit harder to get the roll you want. Definitely PvP, unless you want to use focus fire and triple tap, which I think is fine. I think that is what you'd want to use it for. Triple tap 4 times, another just infinite ammo roll, kind of like duty bound. I wonder what Adagio is like on this thing too, actually, because that might be pretty cool. Multi-kill clip is good for these things because in PvP, I believe it does 46 or 48 to that, so it's just like not quite a 4 bullets to kill. If you get 1 kill, multi-kill clip, have the proc, now you're 4 tapping, you can instantly reload, applies over itself. I give it a C+. Another energy scout rifle, another void one, high impact. I love these high impact frames, they've really been pushing them out. 4 times focus fire. Nice thing, you can do Genesis adaptive again, kind of like that other weapon we saw. But this is just not great. I give this one a D. It has some rolls, but it's just not a great frame. And this is a Vice one. Haven't seen this since like year 1. 360 single fire. Definitely put on the full auto mod on this, please. It'll make it a lot better. You're gonna be reloading a lot, but thing is, you're not reloading after 2 bullets. So I think either stats for all or perpetual would be what you want. Maybe killing one because it's already got a pretty good reload. Interesting what sort of perks it has though, because you're not using this in PvE unless you really want like perpetual one for all. PvP, like who cares about 1 bullet? It's, you know, it takes a lot to go. So I think PvP you'd have to aim for turnabout because I don't think you're getting value to any other perk. Maybe Vorpal you are, I don't know, maybe. So I would go with turnabout, killing win. This is basically an F though. This isn't good. Energy sniper, this is a rapid fire frame, void with, that sucks that these, I hate when these two are together. There's really nothing PvE related. Triple tap focus fire, field prep focus fire. So this is definitely a PvE roll, or PvP, excuse me. But even still, snapshot, no distractions. I mean, you could go play Gauss and get that omniscient eye and have the same roll. So this is like, who cares? Why would you even want to use a rapid fire in PvP? Like no one wants to use them anymore. They're just not nice when they 3-body. So this is another F, honestly. I don't think this is good. Even a field prep or triple tap, live from goal, whatever, focus fury. It's just not better than high impact 4 times from an Ikelo sniper or a Praedyths with rewind and high impact. Like I think both of those are better. Maybe focus fury is better than I know, but then I think it is. Fugui 55. Auto-loading firing line, pretty nice. Oh, I didn't look. This is a void adaptive. 4 times 1. This is good. This is good. This is Soul Survivor 2.0. Right there. And that right there is Tranquility 2.0, but as an energy. I don't really know if you'd want this for PvP. Snapshot, no distractions is the only thing I can think of. This is a pretty decent PvE roll though. This is solid. Because you even have Vorpal, man. Like that's just a staple, like good thing. Focus Fury, I don't know. It might not be that great, but this is just solid. I like this. This is I give this an A. If you're looking at more of a PvE and PvP thing, I could see A minus, but at least at a snapshot, no distractions. Like that's something, while also having really good PvE rolls. So I'm happy giving this an A. Final web, recluse frame, literally basically recluse, void, and everything. PvE, frenzy. Subsistence is okay, but you're using so many bullets, like you're shooting so fast that I'm not really a huge fan of that. So I'm looking at PvP now. I think you need rangefinder on this thing. I wish I had a moving target in this slot. That would be fun. But I would go killing win rangefinder. That would give it some nice range. I give it a C minus. Actually, no, that's too nice. I'm giving it a D. There really isn't much PvE side. In PvP, there's like one okay-ish roll. Tarnation, legendary arc, drum mag heavy. This is a rapid fire. Oh wow, I haven't seen one of those in a while. Chain reaction. Why did I think that was explosive light? I don't like anything in this column. I suppose in PvP you could get procs, turnabout, and like quick draw. Maybe like that seems decent, but this is that's the only thing. Yeah, maybe you want to use it to clear ads with chain reaction. I don't think so. I'll give it a D because I actually do think turnabout on a heavy in PvP, that would be pretty good. Another heavy GL, this one's stasis. This is the Wendigo frame, so 120. This one has explosive light, but doesn't have auto loading. I looked at this before and I don't really know what else you want. Chill clip is a weird perk, so it's like slows when you shoot things at the top of the mag, but you're using a heavy GL. You're probably gonna kill the thing that you're shooting. You're slow. It just seems odd. Demo adrenaline, okay, cool. Let me throw my nade and then spam heavy to do more damage against a normal dude. I mean, grenade launchers get a lot of value out of explosive light, but still, I mean, it has to be explosive light. Maybe like, I don't know, demo explosive light, impulse, or unrelenting. I give it a E plus or C minus, one of those two. But really, yeah, it's not that great. I wonder what that's like in PvP though. It's like, oh, I shot someone and then they didn't die, so I can follow them up easily because they're slow. Recurrent impact, stasis, machine gun, rapid fire frame. This thing is already, I've shot it. It's very hard to control, but has pretty good damage output. I think this would be a pretty fun roll, field prep firing line, or field prep one for all. I really like field prep compared to sub because you need ammo with this thing if you actually want to use it the way it's intended, which is to kill ads, which you really should just be using exotic primary if you want to kill ads. Don't waste it on a machine gun, but it is what it is. Another headstone weapon, you know, could get use out of it, but your goal with land tank is to just get a bunch of final blows and be tankier. So what perks help with that the most? Either subsistence, field prep with any of firing line, headstone, one for all, frenzy. I think this is too hard to get precision hits unless you're shooting something really big. In which you're shooting something really big, you're probably using it for damage, in which case I don't think this does more damage than firing line. Maybe it does, but I'd be very surprised if something on your own you could proc is better than something you need a group for. I will give this a B minus because I'll give it a B minus. I think if machine guns do get the buff that I think will eventually come, this could be a pretty nice damage perk combo. That's a lot of rounds you can get out really quick with some good damage. Only a couple more left. This stasis rocket tracking Hawkeye frame, so this one has a little bit less damage than the other frames. It can get some really solid rolls though, and with Phantomite being a one cost, any of you stasis players out there I think can get a lot of value out of this. Auto loading explosive, auto loading lasting, either of those two rolls are awesome. General use, just high damage output with Phantomite. You can always go with impulse as well if you want that spam ability, with the same rolls as well. I think general use, impulse explosive or auto-loading explosive, boss damage with G-Horn, throw on lasting impression with either of those two rolls. Are you Izzy swapping? Auto-loading. Are you dumping all of it on your own with Fontamite impulse? I mean, ideally you get Fontamite for both, but like both rolls. It's a really good gun though. I'd honestly give this an A+. I think it's exactly what you want. Other than maybe having Vorpal, but it's like, okay, Frenzy is close enough to Vorpal to where I'm still comfortable saying that. Would Field Prep be nice too? Yeah. But just the fact that it's actually a good stasis rocket gives me a lot of hope for the future of this thing. Like, any stasis builds will get a lot of value out of this rocket. Red Herring, on the other hand, Void Rocket, this is a adaptive, so this is same as Hothead, so this is the highest damage one. There's one role I think that you'd want, and that's Field Prep and Lasting for PvE. More damage, like this is essentially the Heretic role that you would have wanted from the Moon, but as Void. So if you have a Void class, if you want to make use out of the Void Fontamite, then this is the role that you want. Nice thing too, it's craftable, so you can get this pretty easily. Throw that on impact casing, either quick launch or hard launch, and you're good to go. PvP, do you really care? Like, it's a rocket. Like, I guess turnabout would be kind of cool, but like, come on, man. If you're actually like, rockets are basically all the same in PvP. I'll give this one a B+ because it has one good roll and one okay roll. But because of rocket meta, I think this does get a lot of value, and it's a good frame, right? So it's nice to have another rocket that you can go get for a Fontamite damage phase. And the last one is the Iron Banner Sword. This is a vortex frame, so this is basically Guillotine 2.0. I don't know what you'd want with this thing. I really don't. Duelist Trance is actually pretty strong at keeping you alive, but this whole perk is designed, like this extra one here, is designed around being off radar in Iron Banner. So what perks help with that? I think, like, I don't know, any of these swords don't really, like, perks don't. I would say Assassin's Blade is the best PvP thing to get. If I was going for a roll though, I think I'd go Duelist and Chain Reaction and just have like a quote-unquote ad clear sword. Maybe Unrelenting Chain Reaction too. This is a D though, like this is not anything particularly great. And that's it. That is all. That is every weapon reviewed. I gave a grade for all of them. Let me know in the comments how right I was, and also which ones you're looking most forward to. I won't have a video until probably the raid. So, well, actually, no, I might have something before. We'll see. But I'll be streaming every now and then too before that, while I show off my prep. So, you can check me out here on YouTube. I might stream on Twitch, probably not. I'll probably stick on YouTube. But that link is in the description as well. And check out Twitter at the TV Cruise. I post enough stuff there, but just follow me, all right? Come on, man. I deserve it. I got a world's first. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good one. Peace.